This is ZNS Total Sports, brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. 3 Bahamians competing today at the Diamond League meet in Zurich. In the women's 200 meters, a strong showing from 400-meter Olympic champion Shawnee Miller-Weibo. She set a new national record, winning 21.88, finishing ahead of 200-meter world champion Daphne Skippers and Olympic 200 champion Elaine Thompson. Now coming off a silver at the World Championships, the news not so good for Stephen Gardner in the men's 400. He stumbled and fell out of the blocks. As for Donald Thomas, he tied for 9th in the men's high jump, clearing 7.2 3/4. Joanna Evans with a big day in the pool of the World University Games in Taipei. She swam 2 minutes, 0.4 seconds in the heats of the women's 200-meter freestyle to advance to the semifinals, where she touched the wall in a new national record time of 1:59.19. Joanna also swam the heats of the 800 free, stopping the clock in 8:36.89. She has qualified now for both finals tomorrow.
Joanna is really focusing on medaling in these games. She is ranked very highly. She opted out of Worlds because the recovery time is not enough to be able to compete at a high level in Worlds as well as the World University Games. And based on her current times, she would have actually been in the finals of the Worlds. So she's on a track to really do well.
Our under-18 girls soccer squad kicking off play yesterday at the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers in Puerto Rico. That was a 1-1 draw against Anguilla. Simone Hanna scored the lone goal for the 2-4-2 in the 88th minute.
Early in the game, we had chances to score. We just didn't put them away. We gave them a few chances. They put one away. And towards the end of the second half, in the last 10-15 minutes, we started to dominate the game, and that's when we got our equalizer. My standout player for the Bahamas was my goalkeeper, who made some big crucial saves and kept us in the game.
Team Bahamas back on the pitch again tomorrow against Puerto Rico. Our junior girls national basketball team recently competing at the Central Basket Tournament, and as Jared Higgs tells us, quite a few of them share a similar background in the sport.
It isn't the most fancy gym in the country, but it's proving to be a breeding ground for top basketball talent. Coach Keno Demerit's Temple Christian Base Extreme Athletics basketball camp is 12 years old and paying dividends.
With the team that went, the under-17 girls team that went to Puerto Rico, there were 6 girls from Temple Christian Elementary team. So when I actually went out to their team practices and I saw the amount of girls that made the team from Temple, I was really proud to see the accomplishments of the girls and from the program.
The national under-17 girls team finished the tournament with a 2-3 record, good enough for 6th place overall. While not wanting to be overly critical, Coach Demerit says a few simple changes could bring about better results.
I think the team is actually picked a little late, which didn't really give them a lot of time to do a lot of conditioning work with the girls and a lot more skill work. Because with me watching their practices, I saw where the skill level was not where it should have been. And then the conditioning wasn't there either, because the girls were getting blown quick in practice. So I think with those things they need to start a bit earlier to develop with the skills and conditioning.
Within his current batch of youngsters, the 20-year veteran TC coach believes there is talent worthy of the national level.
There are a few girls that in here I knew try it out for the junior girls national team, but they wasn't successful being a part of the team. But I think that we have really good caliber of kids right here that can be on any of the teams, the junior girls and the junior boys national team.
Coach Demerit is also the cousin of Team Bahamas top scorer, Valicia Demerit. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I'm Jared Higgs.
From the WNBA last night, the Connecticut Sun notching their first 20-win season in the past 5 years, taking care of the Dallas Wings 93-87. John Quell Jones finishing up with 20 points and 17 rebounds. The new school year is upon us, and officials of the Ministry of Education putting the final touches on the high school sports calendar. Charles Fisher has the story.
The 2017 government school sports calendar should be as competitive as ever, according to Assistant Director Director of Education with responsibility for sports, Keith Saunders.
We're starting this season with volleyball, the Government Secondary School Sports Association, and that'll be looking at the first week in October, pretty much for getting started. In between there will be the cross country, which was out for a while, but that's back in again. And that's certainly good to prepare students along the way for the next sport, which is basketball, followed by, of course, track and field, a major feature. Moving along into soccer, then we will have the baseball, softball competition, boys baseball. Pretty much the focus will be there in that sense.
Consideration have gone into balancing out the sports and giving each discipline a fair amount of time.
We would like to, just at the amount of time that we have, if we can find some means possibly to include weekends in the calendar. That's an idea that's being considered, that we can get more time in.
In the past, after-school activities were ceased due to phys ed teachers not being paid. That should not be the case this year.
I know once you've done work, you expect that you're going to get paid, but then we must understand that sometimes monies are just not there. You know, most importantly is getting the salary to teachers. I'm sure my minister would support that kind of thing, and so I'm not speaking on his behalf, but I need our coaches to understand that, yes, there are difficult times with getting these monies out on time, but it's minimal problems. It's something that we could look forward to, a smoother operation as we move forward with that type of things. This season, I know it's going to be better.
Looking forward to an exciting 2017-18 GSSA sports calendar. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
A local track and field club has found a quiet training facility to call their own. For more on that, here's Kelsey Johnson.
Away from the hustle and bustle that happens down at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium, way up east is where members of the Phoenix Track and Field Club trains. The group of young men makes full use of the wide open field at the Winton Rugby pitch.
For one, the sports center, in my opinion, tend to be very crowded. A lot of times. Additionally, most of the athletes that are in the track club actually live out east, and some of them attend Doris Johnson High School, and that's the school where I work at also. So it's much easier for us to get out here.
Coach Robert Ayton likes the peace and quiet and takes full advantage of the fact that no one is there to bother them. He believes it helps the athletes to focus more.
We do take advantage of the field. As you could see, they do a lot of running, and they do other stuff that help them to get fit, such as basic stuff that other coaches will do, like plyometrics and so on, and core workout.
Off-season training is expected to intensify in the next couple of weeks. It's all in preparation for the busy track and field season.
For me, I think the grass is much better at this time of the season, the off-season, because it takes a lot of the stress off the bones, okay, and it prevents the athletes from getting a lot of injuries, shin splints especially. Using the Mondo track tend to be hard, and you have a lot of pounding on the legs that can eventually, the athletes will eventually feel it further down.
Among the meets Ayton is eyeing is the 2018 Carifta Games, which the Bahamas will host. Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Total Sports.
And that'll do it for sports. Stay tuned, check on weather still to come.